Okay, so first of all, thank you so much, sir, for having me on this session, and a beautiful introduction. And feelings are mutual when it comes to you, because you have supported me right from the day one. I could say that, like 2016, and we have, like 5 years of association, and it is priceless for me. So now, good morning, everyone. Probably, or good evening.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah. Uh, so many of you, might have noticed that why this title, how to be a loser, right? And what we can do is, like, I hope અહીંયા બધાને ગુજરાતી ખબર છે, right? So I mean, I will mix it in English and Gujarati. So those who are my international friends, please bear with me, because it will be a kind of mixed language, but you will get the point. Okay. Meanwhile, what I would like to share is that we will make it a two-way kind of communication. Okay. Because I don't believe in, bombarding from here, and you guys get bored. All right. So first, how to be a loser, why being a loser is required. Okay, that we will come to know once we start this topic. Okay, as topic આપણે જેમ જેમ આગળ જશે, and you will come to know that why this title, because I believe that losing comes first, then winning. All right. People pleasing versus assertiveness, that is the third chapter of this book. And either knowingly or unknowingly, right? Or either willingly or unwillingly, or like, or forcefully, all of us in our day-to-day life are practicing this people pleasing, right? Now what happens is that, I mean, it is not our fault, to be honest, because આપણે જે હ્યુમન બીંગ્સ જે આપ છે ને, અને એમાં આપણે જે એક સોસાયટીમાં રહીએ છીએ, એક સમાજમાં, right? So we have been taught from the beginning, like જ્યારથી આપણે નાના હતા, and it is not like we only, our parents also, our grandparents also, we have been nurtured in such a way that we always put others first in our life. Now I'm not saying that it is bad. Okay, હું એવું નથી કહેતો કે બહુ ખરાબ વસ્તુ છે. Of course we need to think about people, those who are around us, those who or those who are closer to us. But there is a kind of limit to anyone, right? We need to have our own boundaries, we need to have our own, જેને કહેવાય ને પેલી લક્ષ્મણ રેખા આપણે ગુજરાતીમાં કહીએ છીએ એવું, એમ કે ભાઈ, beyond this nobody can take advantage of mine, whether he or she is a family member, friend, or a relative, workplace colleague, anybody. Okay, so we need to set that boundary. Now what happens is that though we want to set the boundaries, but we do not know what exactly or how exactly we can do it. Okay, so in today's session, આપણે આજના સેશનમાં આ બધું ડિસ્કસ કરીશું. First is, what is people pleasing, right? Second, which are the characteristics of people pleasers? Third, which are the drawbacks of people pleaser? Fourth, કે કઈ રીતે આપણે assertive બની શકીએ, how we can practice assertiveness, because there is a very thin line when it comes to assertiveness and egoism, right? So we need to be very certain when it comes to being assertive. બરાબર છે, બહુ જ ધ્યાન રાખવાની જરૂર છે. Of course, I mean, it comes with practice. Okay, initially we feel that it is little difficult, but with practice we can do it. Okay, and it is a daily task. I mean, like એવું નથી કે આજે આપણે આ શીખ્યા ને we will be assertive. No, not possible, right? So let's start. So the first is, why loser? We have discussed that. Now what exactly the people pleasing is? જો બહુ જ કોમન શબ્દોમાં કહીએ ને તો આપણી આસપાસ ઘણા બધા એવા લોકો હશે કે જે લોકો પોતાની જે ખુશીઓ હોય કે પોતાના જે રાઇટ્સ છે એને જતા કરે છે ફોર પીપલ, like for their happiness. બરાબર છે? And the best example, can anybody tell the best example who is a people pleaser? You can comment in chat box. Okay, I would love to know that.
Mother.
Absolutely, that's true. Meg, you have nailed it. Yes, mothers first. Comes mother, of course, with due respect, fathers also. I mean, parents, yeah, that's, they are the best examples of being a people pleaser. Why? Because they sacrifices themselves, of course. So yes, they, what they do is, and honestly, I believe that કે આપણે એમને ખબર છે, parents know that they are sacrificing themselves, right? So I always tell parents that, of course, taking care of children is necessary, but not at your mental peace, not at the cost of your mental peace, right? તો હું મતલબ ઘણી વખત એવું થાય કે આ બહુ હર્ષ બોલે છે, I am harsh, but it is not like that. I mean, what I believe, I tell to my parents that, don't think too much about our well-being and all. So usually being a father, my father says that, like, yeah, you will realize when you will be a father. I said, yes, I know that, but everything is their times, and what is the need? Okay, so with that, let's move further. So I just wanted to give you the example so that you can notice, after this session, or you can recall some events where your parents have acted, like pleasing. Okay, so own happiness comes later, at the cost. And another thing, the second point here is very serious. Like, sometimes a person acts intentionally to please people, and this is, we need to be very careful, because we have seen this, for example, if we consider students, તો આપણા સ્કૂલ કોલેજ લાઈફમાં એવા સ્ટુડન્ટ્સ આપણે જોયા હશે, અથવા કદાચ આપણે પણ એવું કર્યું હોય કે we act nicely, intentionally, to teachers, professors. Why? Because we want to please them. The reason, because we can have good score. So that is one thing. So we need to remember these two things. First, at the own happiness, at the cost of their own happiness, and the second is, they do it intentionally. So one is by choice, and I mean, like, both of those are by choices, but one is, like, when it comes to parents, that is a different example, and when it comes to choosing intentionally, that is also different, right? Okay, so this is basic idea of people pleasing. Okay, now I would like to ask you these 4 questions. I request you to read the questions and answer me in either yes or no. So the first question is, do you say, oh, sorry. Do you say yes to everyone? Do you have fear of conflict? Do you crave for compliments and hate criticism? Do you have a habit of saying sorry and explaining your reasoning, like over and over again? मतलब તમે બધાની રિક્વેસ્ટ ને જનરલી હા કહેતા હો છો? Do you have fear of conflict? Means તમને એવો ડર હોય છે કે યાર કંઈક ફાઇટ થઈ જશે તો, right? With family members or with friends or colleagues. Do you crave for compliments? मतलब વખાણ કરે કોઈ તમારા એવું હોય, અને hate criticism because you cannot stand your critics. And do you have a habit? I mean, there are people who have this habit of saying sorry. ભૂલ ના હોય તો પણ sorry. No, it's not necessary to say that. Okay. Yes. There are people who are saying yes. Vijay is saying yes. Sarika is saying no. Meg is saying yes. Jeet Pandya is saying sometimes I say yes, sometimes no. Manasvi is saying all yes for me. Saying sorry is fine, but not. Yeah, Alicia is saying it happened to me a lot of times before as a mom mostly. Yes. Mihir is saying yes. Okay. So guys, bear with me because I have cough and cold, so but I will put my best efforts to sound nice. All right. So if you are answering yes to any of the questions or almost all the questions, then I can say that you are a people pleaser, right? Okay, so but that's fine. We are going to discuss in detail so that we can overcome this problem, right? So all yes means we need to work on ourselves. Okay, now one more question. Can anybody tell me what does this picture mean? Because this is usually at everybody's home. It's floor mat. Yes, you're right. I'm saying meaning. What exactly the meaning of this picture? This picture is showing a welcome sign, always welcoming all and everything. Yes. Still, I'm not getting the answer. Greeting someone with wholeheartedly. Yes, that is true. Invitation. Yes. Okay. Of course, you are right. But what I want to say is something different. This is a floor mat, right? And people pleaser are like floor mats. Now you might have questioned how. Now, what is the job of floor mat? We, to keep our feet clean, right? So, what people pleaser, a people pleaser practices is this floor mat. Anybody can come to him or her. બરાબર છે, કોઈ પણ આવી શકે અને કંઈ પણ કામ હોય તો એને આપી દે, અથવા a kind of કોઈ પણ આવે એને ગમે તે કહી જાય. If somebody comes, says anything and everything, abusive words or tasks to give, આપણે આ પણ જોયું હશે. There are friends in our circle અથવા કોઈ એવા સ્ટુડન્ટ્સ હશે કે જેને ગમે તે આઈને કંઈક પણ કહી જાય, they listens. they listen, that's it. અથવા એને કોઈ પણ કામ આપે, he never says no. And this is one of the reasons, like many of us have this problem that we cannot say no effectively, right? Sorry. So people pleasers are like doormats. Okay, anybody can come and use them. All right, so the next one, which are the characteristics? Because now, as we have started discussing, આપણે આ discussion શરૂ કર્યું છે, તો આપણને એક એવો being a human nature, આપણને એવું હોય કે યાર કઈ કઈ એવી characteristics છે, right? કઈ કઈ એવી વર્તણૂક છે આપણી daily basis પર, that shows or that depicts કે આપણે people pleaser છીએ. Okay, so there are certain characteristics, and we need to focus. I'm not saying that all the characteristics are for people pleasers. I mean, like, you need to have all 10. No, even if it is like 3, 4, 5, okay, but the more you have these characteristics, chances are that કે તમે એક severe people pleaser છો. Okay, all right. So first is, they do their best to avoid conflict, right? Now see, avoiding conflict in a healthy way, that is fine. But if we do it at the cost of our own values, our own what do you say, that respect is not good. Okay, so this happens that those who are pleasing people, they have this tendency, no matter what, they are considered as conflict avoiders. એ લોકો એમનો બેસ્ટ એફર્ટ્સ મૂકશે, મતલબ કોઈ આઈને ગમે તે કહી જશે, કોઈ પણ કામ આપશે, even if they don't like, they don't say. And this is very commonly observed in our families as well as at workplace also, right? કે આપણે અહીંયા કેવું છે કે even we have been taught કે if somebody says something, then we should accept it. બરાબર છે? આવું આપણને નાના હોય ત્યારે પણ શીખવાડે છે કે કોઈ કઈ પણ કહી જાય તો મોટા છે એવું કહીને એને ઇગ્નોર કરો. Okay, so I'm not saying that we should do it, or I'm not saying that we should fight to that person, but what I'm saying is કે જ્યાં પોતાના જે લિમિટેશન્સ છે એને એ કરીને કોન્ફ્લિક્ટ રોકવાની કોઈ જરૂર નથી. Okay, we should not do that. Right. Second is, act like they agree with everyone. So see, first point, first characteristic je che a, and second, first and second are like they go hand in hand. Because if you agree with everyone, that means you are a kind of that buffer. You do not let others to start conflict because you are accepting or you are agreeing all the time, right? So you can see that in this picture, there is a lady who is having her computer, her work is going on, she is on one phone, landline, and another is her personal cell phone. So she's in dilemma what to do, right? How can I say no? So when we are not able, જ્યારે આપણે ના નથી કહી શકતા ને, ત્યારે શું થાય છે? We are inviting not only people but their problems also, right? So the art of saying no, that is also a kind of topic that we should focus on, right? કઈ રીતે ના કહેવું gracefully, like Sarika said, right? So we need to remember this, okay, that saying no is not bad. આપણને અનફોર્ચ્યુનેટલી એવું શીખવાડે છે કે એનાથી આપણને એવું લાગે યાર કઈ રીતે ના કહું, અમને તો ના કહેવાતું હશે, right? How can I say no to this person, right? Or if I say no to my boss, then what happens, right? What if I don't get promotion? What if I don't get salary hike, right? Or even at relationship levels, like whether we are with our partners or I mean family relations as well as personal relations, like boyfriend or girlfriend, husband wives, right? There also, you know uh, the problem of saying no is huge, right? Because there are various reasons. First is we do not want that person to get hurt. Second, we do not want to lose our benefits or perks, right? So second is they act like they are agreeing with everyone. Third, I am sorry is their tagline. The fourth question, do you say sorry to everyone and more often, right? uh, I have seen people, they are like, even if the weather is bad and if the person is getting cold, right? Like their family person, they say sorry to them. I'm sorry. Now why? What is the need of it? No, it's not your fault to have cold. Okay, it is the weather. Or if something happens, like, of course I am sorry to know that, that is different thing. But when we say sorry for not doing anything, right, that is not good. Okay, so we should understand this. And many of you might have questioned that how we can come to know about all these limitations of ourselves. So my only answer is, મારો એક જ આન્સર હોય છે કે analyze ourselves. When we analyze ourselves instead of analyzing others actions, others behaviors all the time, right? આપણે પોતાનું ઓબ્ઝર્વેશન કરવું જોઈએ. We need to observe ourselves and then take actions. કારણ કે આપણે બીજાને ઇવેલ્યુએટ કરવામાં એટલા બધા બિઝી હોઈએ છીએ ને, that we do not have time for ourselves, right? We become so busy in evaluating others, in judging others, that we do not have time for ourselves. Now, does it make sense? In my opinion, it is not. Okay, so I am sorry is the tagline. Fourth is they cannot say no. Now see here, as I told you that we have been taught, you can say this is Bradley Cooper, one of the finest actors of Hollywood. Unfortunately, when someone asks me for a favor, I cannot say no because of my upbringing, my Catholic guilt. If I don't do it, it plagues me, right? So with due respect to all religions, but we have observed this in our daily life. આપણા પેરેન્ટ્સ પણ ઘણી વખત એવું કહેતા હોય કે યાર ના નહીં કહેવાનું, એમણે કહ્યું છે ને તો કામ કરવું પડે, right? Now, of course, I'm not promoting that we should not work for anybody, but what I'm saying is, like, for example, if we are busy, if we cannot spare some healthy time for others, then it's better to say no rather than like પેલા હા પાડીને પછી ના પાડવી, or પછી આપણે કામ ના કરી શકીએ એના કરતા. So this is classic example of Bradley Cooper. They cannot say no. Fifth is don't acknowledge when their feelings are hurt. So what happens is, like, as I said, because they don't want conflict, they want to act nice with everyone, right? So even though they are not happy with the person who is abusing the other person, they are hurt, they are in pain, they feel bad, but they don't acknowledge. They have that a mask kind of thing on their face. So but we should understand, even if we don't acknowledge when we are hurt, right? That doesn't mean it will not damage. Of course, it will damage. It might not damage to the other person, પણ એ આપણને ડેમેજ કરે છે. It damages us within, right? And sooner or later, it will come into that relationship. બરાબર છે? વહેલું મોડું એ આવશે જ. એ તમને એ આપણને એક ફીલિંગ આવે જ છે, right? After certain period of time, like આપણી જ્યાર સુધી capacity હશે, we will do it. Otherwise, then it turns into various mental health issues and physical health issues also. Sixth is they seek validation from others, right? જોયું હશે આપણે, આ પણ એક્ઝામ્પલ છે કે there are people around us, they always crave for approvals. Like, if, for example, one of the most common examples is like when we buy a new t-shirt or a dress or like outfit. Even though we like it, what we do is we ask others, right? અથવા આપણે એવી રાહ જોઈએ છે જો ડાયરેક્ટ ના પૂછતા હોય તો we wait for others to say, oh, you look nice, or this outfit is amazing, right? So this is a kind of day-to-day small examples, but they make a huge difference. Okay, so now the point is that I like the shirt, I like the t-shirt, I like the outfit. It's my choice and I like it, so I'm wearing it. Now if someone notices in a positive way, that is good. If someone doesn't like it, that is also fine, right? Because it is their own taste, which might differ from us. So that doesn't mean કે એને નથી ગમ્યું, કે like, so we I don't like it because he doesn't like it or she doesn't like it. No, why? No need of it. Okay, so seeking validation, that whether I have done something right or wrong. And you can see the man is sad because he was expecting something from others, but he did not get it. Okay, people pleasers are like copycats. Now copycats means they act like people around them. Why? Because they might have fear that if જો આપણે લોકો જેવું નહીં કરીએ, right, આપણા એક સર્કલમાં છે એવું, તો આપણે અલગ પડી જઈશું, right? That is also one of the biggest issues in our human society. બરાબર છે કે 10 જણા કોઈ એક વસ્તુ કરતા હોય, ભલે ખોટા હોય, right? But કોઈ એક જણ છે જે સારી વસ્તુ કરતો હશે, right? So what people do is people ignore that one person and they focus on those 10 persons, and this is very common, right? કે આવું થતું હોય છે, બરાબર? એટલે ઘણી વખત કેવું થાય કે 10 લોકોને જોઈને આ જો જે એક સારું કરનારો માણસ છે, if he is not or if she is not strong enough, like having a strong mindset, he or she also might get lured to them, like to act like them. Why? Because ઘણી વખત એવું કહેતા હોય છે ને બધા, I mean, we have listened this dialogue કે સાલું આટલું બધું સારું કરીએ તો બી આઉટ થાય છે, તો પછી સારું બનીને મતલબ શું છે, right? We are not our real selves. Yes, that's true, Alicia. So this we should understand, right? Okay, if we and that is the reason I have one quote. Yes, Ajit sir is saying that very true, wearing torn jeans is a fashion. That's true. Yes. What I was saying, yes. So they act like people around them. Okay, so copy karse, they do not confront when they are wrong, the others are wrong. And that is and it makes me remind one of my own quotes, like a lion doesn't require anybody's certificate to be the king, right? Lion is a lion, that's it. Okay, So this is another characteristic. Okay, so these are the 7 characteristics that we have discussed. Now another part is drawbacks of being a people pleaser, because we need to understand, like, we always have a choice to make, but we do not have a choice to choose the consequences, right? આપણી પાસે કંઈક નિર્ણય કરવાની શક્તિ છે, આપણી પાસે ચોઈસ છે, પણ એ નિર્ણયના જે કોન્સિક્વન્સીસ છે એ સિલેક્ટ કરવાની આપણી પાસે લક્ઝરી નથી હોતી, right? In our day to day life, for example, if we smoke, so smoking is our choice, but consequences, for example, lung cancer, or anything, so that is a consequence. તમે એવું ના કહી શકો હું સ્મોક કરીશ ને મને લંગ કેન્સર ના થાય. No, it is not like that. Consequence is always there, whether it is a good work or bad work, whatever. Okay, so we should remember this. So again, matlab people pleaser આપણે છીએ તો એના શું drawbacks છે, characteristics આપણે જોઈ લીધી, હવે drawbacks જોઈએ, so that what I'm doing, what I'm trying is to make ourselves aware step by step કે ભાઈ characteristics જોઈ, પછી હવે drawbacks જોઈએ છે. We are learning about drawbacks so that we are, like I'm hammering on each of us, that subconscious mind, including me. Okay, એવું નથી કે મેં if I've written the book, that means I am master and I am assertive all the time. No, it's not possible, right? But હું પોતે એવું માનું છું કે like we are work in progress. Okay, Richa is saying what to do when you put your point but the person gets unnecessary angry on you. First, like what I believe is that when we put our points clearly, and if the person gets angry, okay, one of the ways is to ignore that anger, right? Because if we do not ignore, and if we get under that influence of an anger, it will create problems, right? So that is one of the ways. And sometimes if ignorance is not there, and if you want to say, then sometimes we need to be clear, we need to communicate with that person that these are my points, this is what I believe, and now you are getting angry on me because of that, and this is absolutely unnecessary, right? So being direct in communication is also important. Okay, all right. We can also discuss, like at the end of the session or later, you can connect with me. Okay, but as we have time limit, so I'm keeping that in mind. First, emotional disturbance that creates illness, serious illness. As I said, like just this example, if someone gets angry all the time on ourselves, if we do not ignore or if we do not communicate that in a healthy way, what happens is we are inviting problems to ourselves, not with others, right? Why? Because being a people pleaser, emotional disturbance is a gift, a consequence, right? Choice આપણે કરી people pleaser બનવાની, તો emotional disturbance એ એનું one of the reasons છે, products છે. Okay, all right. So what happens when we are emotionally disturbed, right? There will be issues like we feel sad, we feel depressed or frustrated, pain. Okay, so that cause mental instability, and later this mental instability results in physical and psychological breakdowns, right? One of the common sentences we listen, આપણને એવું કહે ને જ્યારે કે માથું દુખે છે યાર, like I am having a headache. So we only think about the external factors, that okay, yeah, I I went to bed late, or I skip my meal, because of which I am having this headache and all. But do we focus on our feelings also? Do we focus on our emotions? For example, if I talk about myself, when I was in college and I was suffering, from mental health issues, uh, the prime reason for my, uh, headache was the irresistible negative thoughts, which I could not control. Right. So this is what I am, trying to explain, that not only mental health issues but physical health issues also. For example, physical problem like headache, stomach ache, right? uh, or we feel body pain. So all these are results, or these are, I can say that results of stress. Okay. All right. uh, all right. Second drawback is extreme pressure to maintain the positive image of oneself, right? Because people pleaser hoiye, right? If we are people pleaser, so what we will do is કે like આપણને બધા જ લોકો સારું લાગે એવું કરવા માટે, we will ignore people's, what do you say, that feelings, uh, like, that's fine. I mean, if he's angry at me because he is not having good time, right? So what we do is that we accept, even though it is unacceptable. And you can see here in the here, like the person who acts nicely, but inside he is angry, right? So a people pleaser has extreme pressure to maintain their positive image. Why? Because એમને એવું થાય છે કે like, what if I say something and the person doesn't like? What if I do this and my boss doesn't like it? Okay. So again, on the contrary, when we practice assertiveness, બરાબર છે, તો શું થશે? That we do not think, of course, I mean, of course we think about the maintaining or developing a positive image, but it will not act as a pressure. Okay. It acts, or it comes naturally, right? So this is second drawback. Exploitation by individuals. Now can you tell me, what is this showing? The image, you can share your thoughts in the chat box. Yes, remote control car. Anybody else? Being robotic. Yes, people always keep an eye on us. There you go. Samriddhi Rawat is saying, working on others' commands. That is true. Being controlled by others, taking granted by people. Yes. Being managed by others. That is true. Others are controlling us. Absolutely. Absolutely. This is true. What I wanted to share is that uh, the message is that don't give your remote control to others, right? That this is a remote control car, even though the car, uh, what do you say, even though the car has fuel, the car cannot move. Why? Because it is controlled by that remote. And this happens in our day-to-day life. People tend to exploit us. And this is very common across the globe. બરાબર છે. અને એવું નથી કે ખાલી person to person. It is like exploitation from bigger organizations or bigger countries to smaller countries or smaller organizations, right? For example, there are two countries. I mean, we are not being political, or we are not saying anything against, or we are not favoring anybody. But for example, one country which is small and one country which is big, okay, Ukraine and Russia, right? So currently, it is a very high, or you can say that intensifying moments in the history of human kind. Why? Because any single mistake can turn into World War III, right? So I'm not saying anything, but I'm just giving you the example. Okay, so we do not have any intention to support anybody, but this we should understand, right? That at workplace, senior managers or CEOs, or like the general managers, they tend to exploit their downline people. Okay, or in family also this happens, right? That those who are elder people, they have this tendency to exploit their younger ones. So we should remember this, that we are not remote controlled. I mean, like, we are not the car or the TV, and our remote control is with others. They will play with us, our feelings. Okay, so we should remember that exploitation by individuals must be avoided. Right? Lack of identity. I told you, one of the characteristics is they act like others. બરાબર છે, બીજા જેવું આપણે act કરીએ છીએ. That is the characteristics of a people pleaser. So what happens when we are living in a crowd, that we ignore our identity, right? We do not have our own, what do you say, that we do not have our own values, our own beliefs. Okay, or if we have, we ignore them. Why? Just to be in a crowd. Okay, so this is another drawback. Fifth, becomes a failure in all aspect of life in the long run. Why? Because being a people pleaser, what we will get is, we will get betrayal from others, we will get pain. Okay, we we become so frustrated with ourselves that in the long run we consider ourselves as a failure, though we are not. Okay, so this is fifth. All right, now this is of everyone's interest. I must say that. But yes, now what we want is how to be assertive, right? Okay, so, but how to be assertive? ઘણી વખત એવું થાય કે યાર assertiveness બરાબર છે, right? I want to learn, but what exactly the assertive behavior is? Okay, then the second question is કે કયા એવા benefits છે? What are the benefits? Right? And the third question is how can we learn it? So the first section was what exactly people pleasing, right? Drawbacks, characteristics, and now we are discussing about being assertive. So what is assertive behavior? What are the benefits and how to practice it? All right. Okay. So before learning what exactly the assertive behavior is, I would like to show you the types of behaviors. And you can see there are mainly 4 types of behaviors. First is passive. Second is aggressive. Third is passive aggressive. And fourth is assertive, right? Now, in you can see I have put image for each of the behaviors, and you can see the passive person, he is not reacting. Okay. Aggressive, so denying our own rights, that is passive. Denying others rights, that is aggressive, right? ઘણા બધા એવા લોકો હોય છે આપણી આસપાસ જે they are aggressive in nature, they ignore people's need, comfort. Okay. Now see, this is very important. Passive aggressive, if it is passive, if it is aggressive, we can deal with it, right? But those who are having passive aggressive behavior, they are serious threat. Or if we are acting passive aggressively, then we are serious threat to ourselves, right? And the others also. So a passive aggressive person is a silent protest. You can see here the person is shaking hand to the person, I mean, like with the person having white shirt, right? But in the other hand, he is having a knife. So this black, I mean, like the person in black clothes, he acts nicely to this person. Okay. But whenever he gets chance, he will not miss to use this knife against him. Okay. So this is a kind of passive aggressive behavior where at times, we accept the other person, we accept flaws and everything, and the moment we get chance, we stab them. Okay. All right. And this is very common. Let me give you one example. For example, if we are having a group of 5 to 6 friends now, or at workplace, okay, colleagues. So what happens is, uh, there is a one person in that group who is a kind of passive aggressive person. So what happens is that he acts nicely with the other 5, right? But with individual and as a group. But as and when he gets the chance, he will not miss, that chance to stab the other group members. For example, કે 5 કે 6 જણા જે છે એમાંથી 2 જણા present છે. So what that person does is, like he will speak bad things about the other 2 which are not present at that time. બરાબર છે? 5 માંથી I mean, like out of 6 there are 3 people. One is passive aggressive, other 2 are the members of the group. But bakina બે, those who are not present, so that passive aggressive person will say bad things about those who are not present to the people who are present. Okay. So this is a kind of behavior that we have observed very commonly in our daily life, even at family gatherings and all. અથવા ઘણી વખત એવું બનતું હોય છે કે આપણે એવા લોકોને બી જોયા હોય કે 3 people are there, one is talking, I mean, like એક જણને વહેલું જવાનું હોય છે તો એ જાય છે અને પછી બાકીના બે વાત કરે તો એમનો topic of interest is that other person, right? That we they speak bad things. એની સામે સારું, બરાબર છે, બાકી તો ગરબડ. Fine. So that is the third one, and the fourth one is acknowledging and own and others' rights. That is assertive. So assertive is a kind of person who not only acknowledge his rights, this is very important, but he appreciates others' rights also. બરાબર છે? And that makes a person special because he is not practicing egoism or he is not practicing aggressiveness, right? Because ઘણી વખતે શું થતું હોય છે, either knowingly or unknowingly, in practicing assertiveness, what we do is we are so self-centered that we ignore others' rights, right? And that is not assertiveness. Assertiveness, always promotes win-win situation, right? There are various types. One of my sessions at ULA was win-win situation, thinking win-win, right? So this is also, we need to remember that there are four types. Now, what we can do is we can go quickly uh, about the characteristics. See, characteristics of assertive behavior are people, those who are not practicing people pleasing, they are open and honest. Open means they do not hide their feelings, or they do not put that mask on themselves. Okay, right? They are open for criticisms, they are open for discussions, they are open for debate, whatever. Okay, but they do not, you know, dominate in a wrong way, and they're honest. I mean, being honest is not being rude. That is one of my quotes, right? Generally આપણે એવું કહેતા હોય છે કે યાર આ તો rude છે, right? He is not good person, he speaks without thinking and all, but we don't like. Why? Because that person is honest. Okay, and honesty with modesty is a fantastic combination. Okay, so first is be open and honest, right? Second, standing up for right means they cannot tolerate partiality or favorism, right? They stand for their own rights. Yes, I mean, I deserve this, and I deserve this, that's it. No more discussions. Okay, so standing up for right is very important. Why I'm saying this? Because, with due respect, I'm not saying, but not only India, but there are other countries across the globe. They were one or the other time, they were, like slaves to the other countries. Like, as I said, like the big countries dominate the small countries like that. So, what happens is, usually I say this, that those countries who have slaved for, like who slaved for a longer period of time, people of those countries have slavery in their blood, right? I say this, and slavery je blood માં આવી જાય છે ને, that restricts us for standing up for our rights, right? So, second characteristics. Third, as I just said, in the previous slide, finding win-win situation during conflict, right? Because when we practice assertiveness, chances are there that conflict will be there. I have seen or observed many of my clients, who take help from me. At first they are, like people pleaser, or they are like, accepting whatever is there and all. And the moment they start practicing assertiveness, the people around them gets aggressive, or they get, they get mad. Why? Because they will think, oh my goodness, this lady or this man was not doing anything previously. He or she was accepting whatever I was saying, right? Or whatever we were saying. Suddenly, what happened, right? So this kind of situation will definitely, situations invite conflict. And during this conflict, we should remember that our goal is to think about win-win solutions. Win-win solutions means both the parties will have, happiness at the end after that deal. Because there are 6 types of situations, like lose-lose, lose-win, win-lose, uh, win-win is the 5th, and no deal, right? So Apart from win-win, all five situations are not healthy. Okay, but yes, no deal is good because no deal leaves the possibility of future discussion for the deal. Okay, so finding win-win situation is very important. Okay, and if we cannot do it, then I must say we are not practicing assertiveness. Fourth is active listening. Why? Because if we want to be assertive, જો આપણે assertive બનવું હશે તો active listening બહુ જ જરૂરી છે, which is missing nowadays. Unfortunately, it is an irony. Why? Because everybody of us is ready to speak, but nobody of us, like, or majority of us are not ready to listen what the other people say. And why I said active, because આપણે આપણી ફેમિલીમાં પણ જોયું હશે કે like and we either knowingly or unknowingly have practiced it. For example, our parents are saying something to us, like કંઈક ટાસ્ક આપે છે કે કંઈ પણ, બરાબર છે, અને આપણે શું કરીએ છીએ, like I am working on my laptop, or I am having my gadget with me, આપણે કહીએ છીએ yes yes yes, okay okay. So is it active listening? It is not. Active listening is when our parents are talking to us, we put our gadget or work aside, right? We pay attention to them, what they are saying, how they are saying, and why they are saying. Okay, so this happens, and I am the example. I don't feel bad in committing this. Okay, I'm not saying that I do it intentionally, but sometimes it happens that I'm working, and if my father comes and says something that you need to do this and all, I said yes yes, and then I like suddenly I ask him like શું કહ્યું તમે? And what did you say? Because I was, so they know me, of course, but we need to understand this. Okay, so active listening is very important. All right. Fifth is understanding the situation and the individual, right? Because, see, as I said, if the other person is having that understanding, the situation will be easy, when we practice assertiveness. But if the individual is tough, if the individual is passive aggressive or passive aggressive, situation will be tough. Okay, apart from that, we need to deal with different kinds of people. For example, at home, dealing with parents or dealing with kids or dealing with relatives is different. At workplace, dealing with colleagues is different than dealing with our superiority, authority, and dealing with our subordinates, right? Again, the third one is like dealing with our friends. That is also a kind of difficult scenario. So what we need to do is we need to work on ourselves. We need to spend time that what exactly can I do to understand the situation when I will talk to my parents or my family or at workplace or at, like with friends. Okay. 6, refusing to be bullied. Now, bully, I firmly against bullying. I stand against bullying, because bullying is kind of like આપણે જોયું છે સ્કૂલમાં પણ આપણે આ કદાચ ઓબ્ઝર્વ કર્યું હશે, અથવા વર્ક પ્લેસ પર પણ આપણે ઓબ્ઝર્વ કરીએ છીએ. ઇવન ગ્રુપ્સ ફ્રેન્ડ્સ જે છે 6-7 જણા, તો એમાં પણ એવું બનતું હોય ઘણી વખત કે બધા 5 જણા ભેગા થઈને જે છઠ્ઠો છે એની ખેંચતા હોય, like. So I mean, if it is healthy, that is fine. But if somebody is doing that to show us or to make us feel bad, assertive people don't allow it. They refuse to bully. They refuse to get bullied, and they refuse to practice bullying. Okay. And the seventh is express active disagreement. This is also important. Even if we are disagreeing with others, it should be with grace. It should be, with constructive criticism, or it should be constructive disagreement, right? कि भाई हाँ, you are saying that is your set of beliefs, but I think that it is not right as per my my belief system. Okay, so એવું નહીં કે like, yeah, come on, you're wrong. No, I you are wrong. I cannot do this and all. No, don't. It's not necessary to practice that, but we can say in this way, you know, uh, that yes, I disagree. Okay, with these reasons. So these are the characteristics of people. Sorry, assertive people. All right. Now, after knowing the characteristics, let's learn how to be assertive. So you can see in this picture that the man is standing and making a circle. Now, what does this mean? Can anybody tell me in the comment box? Limits, yes. Setting boundaries, absolutely true. Define boundaries of rights, yes. Agree. So this man is drawing or setting boundaries for himself. Right? Now, what kind of boundaries? He will define a set of rules and regulations for himself. Right? આપણે સ્કૂલમાં જઈએ તો એના rules regulations હોય છે. If you attend school, college, if we go at workplace, there are rules and regulations, right? Then why can't we have rules and regulations for our own selves? Because we as an individual is a kind of system. Okay, so what we can do is we can set our own rules and regulations, right, by considering our values, our needs, and our goals. Right? Because we, as I said earlier in the beginning of the lecture, that we need to create a shield around ourselves, or we need to have that boundary so that nobody can step in and disturb us, right? So that is the reason why boundaries are important. You can see here, no one causes you to feel uncomfortable. Okay, now values, needs, and goals. For example, this is very common, like at workplace, if you're going for having a tea or coffee break and your colleague is saying that bring me a coffee. So of course, I mean, I'm not saying that we should say no, but what we can say is, oh yes, of course, I would love to bring coffee for you, but I request you, like, whenever in future, I appreciate, or I expect that you do the same. So that is a kind of, like, we are giving a message to the person, that yes, I don't mind bringing a coffee, but that doesn't mean I will bring coffee for you all the time, right? Okay, so this is a common example which happens in our day-to-day life. All right, then what I have done for each chapter, there is a question answer based approach to overcome people pleasing. Now, what exactly happens when I'm saying question answer? Because what I believe is, like, there are plenty of self-help books, okay, or personal development books, and not all the books contain the exercises and all. So what I thought is, like, instead of just reading, how about making my readers work? Okay, so I'm a kind of person like, it's not like I love to make people work, but uh, it is my interest that when somebody reads, uh, so he or she not only reads, but they also work on themselves during the process. Okay, so first is identify the issue, right? Question answer based approach. For example, you are at workplace, or if we consider students, તો આપણે we have found that કે ઘણા એવા સ્ટુડન્ટ્સ હોય છે, આપણા ફ્રેન્ડ્સ બી હોય કે એક જણ અસાઇનમેન્ટ્સ લખવામાં અને એમાં બધામાં બહુ સિન્સિયર હોય, તો એવું બનતું હોય કે ઘણાનું અસાઇનમેન્ટ એક વખત લખાઈ જાય પછી એની નોટ ક્યાં હોય એને ખુદને ખબર નથી હોતી. The notes are moving from one student to other, right? Something like that. So that is fine, but there are other students, or our friends, they say, come on man, write this assignment for me, I don't have time, right? So what happens is, we say, okay, no problem, I will write. But it is not good. Why? First, because we are doing a bad practice, we are writing an assignment for him. Second, we are wasting our time also. For example, exam is approaching and we need to read, we need to study, okay? But we cannot do it. Why? Because we are busy in writing others' assignment, right? So we need to identify the issue. For example, at workplace, suppose you have a presentation after 2 hours, okay? You are preparing that presentation, you are not done with it yet, and your colleague comes to you and he or she says that, I need your favor, I request you to attend the client's call because I am going outside for some other work. Now we know that we do not have that time, because after 2 hours we are presenting ourselves to the board of the company, okay, and we are preparing for the presentation. We don't have extra time, not a single minute. Then what if we say yes to that person, that okay, I will attend that client, and that client eats up your half an hour? You will be in trouble, not the other person, because the other person will say that, yeah, I told him or I told her to do this and he agreed, right? So first we need to identify the situation. We need to identify the issue. Okay, for example, I have 2 hours only, I need to work, I need to finish the presentation, and I need to quickly revise it so that there is no mistake, and I need to have my lunch in 10 minutes, and then I will represent myself to the board about the future plans of the department, right? So we need to understand, if we do not identify that the entire process, then the issue will be lack of time, and that lack of time leads to several problems. So first, identify the issue. Second, what are my options? Mara options શું છે? First, I accept the colleague's work. Second, I say no clearly, like bluntly, or in a bad way. No, I cannot do it, I don't have any time, something like that. Third is like, practicing assertiveness, that, oh yes, I can understand that you need to go outside, right, for this urgent work, but my plate is full, I'm representing myself to the board members, and I'm still halfway through my presentation, so I want to help you, but I cannot, right? બરાબર, હું હેલ્પ કરવા માંગુ છું, I am not saying no, and we are saying this genuinely, okay, but I cannot, because મારી પાસે જ એટલું બધું કામ છે અત્યારે બાકી, that I cannot help. So I am, and at that time if you say sorry, that's fine, okay. So first is identifying the issue. Now we will see that the steps. Second, search for the solution, right? Pehla situations આપણે find કરી, solution માં શું છે? Either as I said, what can I do in the situation? The three options. First, accept. Second, clearly saying no, that no, I cannot do it, man, I don't have time, and something like that. No. And the third is practicing assertiveness. Okay, so search for the solution. Third, keep in mind the consequences. First is like, okay, I will do it, and then you will be in trouble because your presentation is still there. You cannot present yourself to the board members in a good way, so you will be in trouble. Second, be arrogant and say clearly no, that I will not do it and all. Then what happens is that we might need, I mean, like, it's not like only need, but being a human or being a team member, we cannot act rudely to the other people, because sooner or later we need them. Or even if we don't need them, we cannot do that, right? And the third one, assertiveness. Yes, I mean, if I say in that way, he or she will not feel bad, okay, and our relationship will not get damaged, right? So so what will be the consequences? Fourth is make a choice. So out of that three options, as I said, what is the best choice? To practice assertiveness. And fifth is assess the advancement. So our job is not done. બરાબર છે કે આપણે એવું કહી દીધું કે યાર મારે તો કરવી છે, but I cannot do it because I have plenty of things to do, right? That is not the end. Okay, a second last step છે. એના પછી fifth is assess the advancement. मतलब કે આપણે આ આન્સર આપ્યો, તો how was the reaction of the other person? How was my experience during this particular situation, right? અને હું શું કરી શકું? For example, what can be the possible steps in near future? So we can say that man, today I cannot help you, but I will definitely put my best efforts to help you in future. Something like that. જો આવો કંઈક જવાબ બનાવ્યો હોય આપણે, તો that is a kind of best assertiveness example. And the third one, how do I feel now? Now just imagine, if we have said yes to that person's request, what do we feel? We will feel tense, frustrated, anxious, because we have said yes. Possible steps, or possible outcomes in near future: our presentation will be bad, we will be in trouble. And what do we feel? Okay, the experience was bad. If we become arrogant, there is a possibility that the person might go against us in future. So, and when we practice arrogance, at first we will feel good. Joe, like, I said no to him and all, but then later on, we feel bad, either knowingly or unknowingly or subconsciously. Or there will be situations, later, that we will feel bad. And if we practice assertiveness, so these are the 5 steps. So what I suggest is that we should have a note, like pen and paper or diary, or if it is not there, nowadays we have the luxury of writing online diaries and notes and all, right, in our cell phone or laptop or computer. So what we can do is we can practice this, and I request you to practice this exercise, right? Question based approach, question answer based approach to solve the problem. Okay, so we need to understand this. All right, so of course there are other ways also to be assertive, that we can discuss. Now see, I want you to see this image. What can you see? Can anybody?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Can I reply?
Yes, yes.
Sir, the teddy is falling and the finger is touching.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Thank you. Anybody else?
You become puppet of somebody else's controlled behavior.
Absolutely, absolutely. So what I've done is in my book, whether it is first book or second book, how to Katputli, yes, that is true. Of how to develop a Neorgi attitude or how to be a loser. I have what I've done is at the end of each chapter there is a creative comparison. Okay, so what I consider people pleaser, creative comparison of people pleaser is people pleasers are like puppets. They do not have their own commands, they do not have their own wishes. They are managed by others. Okay, and at the end of each chapter, there is a real life story, and that story is of common people like us. All right, so with this, I would like to end today's session as we are about to, finish our time. Now, what I want is that we can connect on various ways, by various means. For example, you can email me, you can connect on WhatsApp, and I request you to subscribe my YouTube channel. If you want, I can share the links in the chat box so that you can subscribe. We can also connect on LinkedIn, right? So that it becomes easy for you to stay in touch with me. Meanwhile, if you have any questions, you can ask me. This is link of my YouTube channel. I request you to subscribe there. Okay. If you have question, you can comment the question here in the chat box, or you can raise your hand. That's fine. Yes, Pandya Jeet, tell me.
Sir, my question is that if we are not wrong, we should say sorry or not, sir?
See, what happens is if we are not wrong, then what we can do is we can express ourselves, like in an assertive way. That we can clearly say, like to the person that if you feel wrong, I can understand that you might feel me wrong, okay, but I am not. Okay, so it is not necessary to say sorry if we believe that we are not wrong, because what